Hello, humans. Violence is wrong. Okay. That being said, welcome back, guys. I'm going to use playground rules here. Player 1 and Player 2. Player 1 is calling out Player 2's name. Player 2 is ignoring Player 1. Player 1 starts screaming the name of Player 2, even though Player 2 is right there. Player 2 continues to ignore Player 1. Player 1 starts to tug gently on Player 2's shirt, because Player 2 is still ignoring Player 1. Player 2's not saying anything. Player 2's not interacting at all. Player 1's starting to get really frustrated now because Player 2 is clearly ignoring them. Just not acknowledging Player 1 at all. But whatever they have to say might be really, really important. Player 2 doesn't know. Player 1's had enough. Player 2 doesn't know that because they're completely ignoring them. Player 1 has had enough of Player 2 ignoring them. Pap! Player 2 gets smacked. We're not going to show that because violence is wrong. After smacking Player 2, Player 1 is given the chance to speak their side. There's an additional player. Player 3. Player 3 sees what happens between Player 1 and Player 2. Because they were doing things Player 2 was doing. Player 3 is afraid of being smacked. Uh-oh. So Player 3 decides to make some changes in favor of Player 1. Because Player 1's willing to smack a bitch. Player 3 is a bitch that don't want to be smacked. Player 3 is afraid that what happened to Player 2 will happen to them. Player 3 considers their options. They decide to go ahead and listen to some of the grievances. They were able to make changes very simply and easily, like that, as soon as they were afraid of getting smacked. How come people didn't care about other people's problems, other people's grievances? Why did it take somebody getting smacked for this all to play out as is? In case you haven't figured it out yet, schmacked in this little hypothetical with our little 3 players is the word I'm using for another kind of violence. If the only thing that made Player 3 listen to Player 1 was violence against Player 2 and the threat of violence or the potential threat of violence on Player 3, if that's the only way that Player 1 was able to get Player 3's attention, how do you think Player 1's going to try and get any other player's attention? They'll listen to the sound of a schmack or a pop. Violence is wrong. We shouldn't be doing it. But I don't think you should be responding to violence by finally doing the thing that everyone's been yelling at you to do. When you heard the sound of schmack and thought the schmack might come back and be on you, whatever clicked in your head, operate with that before that happens. Don't push people into a corner to where they feel like that's the only thing that you will listen to. Care about people. Don't force people to give you a reason to care about them. Have that reason be only caring about your own life, and then expect them to care about yours. You don't care about people's lives. But having violence be the only difference between whether or not you see and hear and consider making choices that affect other humans in a way that treats them like humans. Schmack, crackle, pop. In this little hypothetical with our little 3 players. In case you didn't hear me, violence is wrong. Okay.